Bonjour people, welcome back to another review. This time we're looking at Transformers Animated Soundwave. He's a deluxe class Transformer, and here he is in all of his beauty. He transforms into a dark blue, royal bluish 4x4. I don't really know what type of car you could call this. It's a big block, is maybe the kindest thing to say about it. It's fine. As you can see here, we'll establish this first, this big elephant in the room. He's got a massive guitar on the top of him. This is Beak, who just clips on. There's a gap there. There's fetums there. Just tabs in. We'll come back to Beak. So this is Soundwave. As I said, he's a big blue block. He's got reels. He rolls decently in the sense that you can get this bit aligned properly. If you don't align this properly, then this will dig into the ground beneath him and it will compromise his rolling ability. But if you get it right, he's decent. And he's got lightish blue highlights all over him. Kind of gives him like a digital kind of vibe. He has gold symbols on the front there. They are meant to replicate the front of his cassette mode from G1. Similarly, he's got a gold Decepticon logo on the bonnet, and he's got a gold power button, which does nothing, obviously, because it's just painted on. He's got the interesting blue here to replicate speakers, blue rims on the tyres. On the whole, it's a good enough vehicle mode for animated. We'll take a look at Beak now, because why not? He turns into a red and black guitar, electric guitar, I believe. This is actually pretty cool. I really like the way that this guy looks. You don't think about a Transformer just running around with a guitar. It's pretty cool. To transform Beak, push that in, and split this. And that's cool as well. Now, this is the only Beak figure I've ever had the pleasure of owning, and I really like it. And that's as good a close-up as we're going to get on Beak's head. There is some detail on there. Some panel lines, something on the crest. I think there's even meant to be little cutouts of the eyes. We'll just do a quick size comparison. Here he is next to animated Sentinel Prime, who is a fellow deluxe class. So you can see how well they scale together there. To transform Soundwave, what we want to be doing is, first of all, and bear in mind it has been a while since I've last done this, we can take him at the back and we can split him. This will allow us to take the sides all out completely, and we're just going to hinge them and leave them hanging there for a bit. We'll come back to them. On the underside, let's tilt him up a bit. This flap here is on a double hinge, which you want to try and accordion up. This is arguably the trickiest bit of the transformation, just hinging this. There we go. Until the top of it basically lines up with that panel, and then you can clip it in like that. Come back to the top, disconnect this, and split these halves. They're clearly going to be the legs. Come to the bumper, and rotate that flap manually all the way around, and they'll be his kneecaps. So come here, split that, and then come all the way there. This then creates a gap which allows you to keep bringing the legs around, and I don't know what's happening. Oh, that's an arm. I grabbed an arm by mistake. Yeah, creates a gap, allows you to bring the legs all the way around, which you then twist at the knees to get them. No, you don't even do that. You keep them there. I'll tell you what you do. You twist them at the waist to bring the blue part forward, and then you twist them at the knees. And there's everything the correct way around. Coming up, we're going to now return to these arms. We are going to straighten them here. We're going to get our nails into a tab there at the wrist and flick out these paper thin hands. Same thing on the other side. We can collapse up the chest completely now. And then try get a nail into that flap there. Fold down the head. Last of all, push the tyres in, like so. And there is animated Soundwave fully transformed in robot mode. It's pretty cool. Even I have to admit, it's nice having a Soundwave that actually transforms into a proper vehicle rather than a cassette tape, which I just find to be one of the most useless things a Transformer could ever turn into. Like G1 Megatron becoming a gun. sorry G1ers, but it's stupid. Soundwave here, yeah, he's fairly similar to his G1 counterpart and variations thereupon. He retains the blue all throughout, obviously. A few more light blue highlights are revealed and shoved to the forefront. You can see he has a very G1 inspired chest here. It looks like a big cassette tape. Unfortunately, you can't fit anything in because, well, it's not hollow enough. It's just two little thin panels that connect together, and putting him in would never work. Proportionally, Soundwave, he's a bit weird. He's still blocky, and that's the main thing to say about this guy. He's very blocky, and I don't know if that's just due to animated aesthetic. It probably is. If we get a good look at his head, quite jagged in a way. Gold mouth to him, a red visor, which is painted, so there's no light piping on this figure, which is a wee bit of a shame. But never mind. We've already gone over the chest. It's pretty cool. And then big stocky legs, which I suppose complement his big gorilla arms. In terms of articulation, Soundwave has he can turn his head, surprisingly, all the way round, so he does have 360 degrees of rotation. I'm not going to do it because it's actually pretty difficult to do, considering that big thing there. At the shoulders, he can move them out that far. He can rotate them all the way around. He can rotate 360 at the elbow, which is a ball joint. He's got a double bend at said elbow. His hands, which are just these crappy thin pieces of plastic, are just on a pin. They can only go in or out. At the waist, he can rotate 360 degrees, as you saw in the transformation. In terms of a spread, let me get his arms out of the way. Every time, whenever I do a Transformers video now, I always pop something off. Thank God they're only ball joints. Otherwise, I'd be in real trouble. In terms of a spread, let's try that again. He can go about that far, so he has a good spread on him. He can kick up that far. He can kick back that far. That's excellent. At the knee, he has a very decent bend as well. He can go all the way around at the knee, and then in terms of feet articulation, that's not a proper foot articulation. So in terms of overall articulation, Soundwave is really good. We're going to come back to Laserbeak now, and we're going to explore all the possible ways that we could put him on. So back when we had him in car mode, it would have been on his back here, and Laserbeak just clips on like that. Nice and easy. And if you want, you could maybe give him a guitar aesthetic in robot mode, pretending that he has, I don't know what way around it should go. You can try that way. And so you can have Soundwave go around with a guitar on his back. Alternatively, you can give him a proper G1 look and have Laserbeak just perched on his arm. Hopefully, there we go. That's cool. I'm blocking his head, but still. That's cool. I really like that. Really, really like that. What you should be able to do is plug Laserbeak into his arm. Rotate that around. And there you go. You can actually have Soundwave playing a guitar. For a size comparison, here Soundwave is again next to Sentinel Prime, who is a fellow deluxe, and you can see Sentinel kind of actually dwarfs over Soundwave here. He is maybe half a head taller, maybe a full head taller at the most. And here he is next to his Revenge of the Fallen deluxe counterpart, so you can see how they scale together. I believe animated Soundwave came out first. He is maybe a few inches taller, in terms of head height, but if you count all the backpack stuff and the Ravage missile on the Revenge of the Fallen one, they are about the same size. Of course, this is the Revenge of the Fallen one proportioned correctly, which I don't see a lot of people do. Overall, Soundwave is actually a really good figure. I mean, Animated, I think, was notorious for having a really good toy line that was really well received and is still thought of fondly in many people's hearts. Soundwave, he is able to stand up well on his own. That's something I failed to mention earlier. He doesn't have any trouble with that just due to the big blocky nature of his feet. Yeah, he's very poseable. He looks really nice. He comes with an excellent accessory in Beak, and I do really recommend him. If you are going to get any animated figures, Soundwave is probably one of the best deluxe classes that you could possibly get. Yes, his aesthetic is a little bit weird, but then again, the entirety of Animated's aesthetic is really weird. So if you're not used to like a really exaggerated G1 look, then maybe it won't be for you. But if you stan G1, I suppose, or even if you just like something that refers to something that came before with its own original spin, then Soundwave will be right up your alley. And yeah, having very few Soundwave figures myself, this is this probably is the best Soundwave I own, to be honest. Yeah. So yeah, I do recommend him. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.